this is an awkward angle or not. You can watch me sitting down. I think it might be kind of like the cameras. I don't know, that's pretty Uh-oh. I guess I have to go get my phone now.
Yes, you do.
How's this look, though?
It's okay. Where'd it go?
It went down into the hospice. I shouldn't have had it sitting there like that. I'm telling you, that phone's tough. I've never broken it. Alright, we've got some interesting questions to answer today. Katie's eating popcorn. I'm eating green beans.
I said this should be a prompt video where we discuss prompts, questions, about what we would do if, or when, or how, or why. When we were in school, there's different times for end of grade testing, for other times they would give you a prompt and ask you to write about it, and you never had the prompt beforehand, and so you would just have to try to come up with an answer to this question right on the spot, and you had a certain allotted amount of time to do so. And I think that's actually really interesting, and I also think that can tell you a little bit, it tells you a little bit about somebody, like what they come up with on the spot, because usually if they know they have a limited amount of time, they're going to come up with, something good, what they really mean. They're not going to beat around the bush. And I think sometimes when you ask somebody a question, sometimes they can talk around it or say, oh, whatever, but if you say, like, if you had to do this or that, tell me, this is the allotted time you have. The allotted time we have is this video. The pressure's on, and people are going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you what they really think, like, what they really feel, instead of just beat around the bush.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, giving ourselves a time limit, now you will know that our answers will be 100% honest of what we would really do.
Gonna shoot straight right to the point.
Yeah. Cut like a knife.
Boom.
Boom. Very first question. And I'm going to always say you, meaning we, like just a question, but
yeah,
that's how I'm going to phrase it. So I'm going
But
to
we also want to, not to interrupt you, we will, in the description below, put these questions as numbers, and then you can drop us comments and give us your answers if you would like.
Oh, that's a good point. Good idea. Okay. Number one, if you owned a restaurant, what restaurant would it be? What type of restaurant? Where would it be? And what would you serve? Go.
Okay.
Concise.
Yep. It may surprise some people, but just off the top of my head, Japanese steakhouse. I love Japanese food.
Wow.
And I'm gonna have it in a really nice location and make this restaurant super serene and have some kind of cool sushi bar in there, even though I've never ate sushi. And I just like those restaurants. I like eating in them. There's one in Buford that me and Austin used to eat at all the time, and I don't know, just something about the lighting and the atmosphere in the restaurant was like always so relaxing to me.
So location-wise, like downtown, center of town, or off the beaten path?
It's probably gonna have to be downtown somewhere, because no one is gonna trust a Japanese steakhouse that's off in the middle of nowhere.
Gas station sushi.
Okay, what about you?
I would own a pizza place.
Oh.
Right in the middle of town. So the smell of the pizza that I'm making, because I'd want to make it fresh, could waft everywhere. And I'd have lots of business, because everybody could smell the pizza.
Yeah.
And I would have whatever, normal types of pizza, but I'd want people to also be able to build their own pizza. And pretty much, yeah. Pizza, salad, but I'd also have fruit, because I really like to eat fruit with pizza. So that's what I would do. All about the pizza.
There's one rule that you can't put cucumbers on the pizza.
Oh, yeah, no, that's gross.
Comment below if you get that reference. Next question.
I didn't even get it. It went over my head. Okay. If you could take a paid vacation, it's paid for. It doesn't matter what you want to do. It's paid for an entire week. What would it be? You could go anywhere, do anything. On someone else's dime.
I'm going camping in Alaska. Not in the cold months. I just set up camp and on one of those planes that has to fly you in, and just for like a week. Of course, if I'm going all the way to Alaska, I hope this vacation is going to be more than a week.
Okay, well then
it'll take me a week to get to Alaska.
Maybe it could be more than a week.
Or maybe Hawaii. What about you?
This is a good one. Paid vacation, nothing to worry about. I'm going to Colorado, and I'm going to dig for some rocks on my vacation, and I also want to tour an abandoned mine on my vacation and go hang out in the Rockies, and I'm with you on the warm months. I'd like to go when it's warm, and I'd like to also go fishing while I was there. It'd be great if I could just go camp out there in the mountains.
You know what? I scratched that. Sorry, this is probably not that kind of video. We're trying to be quick shooting here.
I'll let you have one recount. This is your only recount.
This is my one recount. I would actually like to go how people will go and visit, like, Israel. And you can take the tours, like, where, you know, Jesus was. I think I'd rather do that.
That's pretty cool. I hadn't thought about that.
Oh, wait, next question.
Okay. If you could only choose one make of vehicle to drive for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I don't mean a specific type. I mean Toyota, Honda, Chevrolet, Ford. You could have different vehicles within them, and it doesn't matter how old or new it is, but you can only have one. You're not going to get to have a Chevrolet, a Ford, and a Toyota. What would it be?
Toyota.
That's what I'd pick, Toyota. Even if it meant I had to get rid of my truck, I would probably still pick Toyota, because that's just the longevity of things is Toyota. Okay. If you could, let's see. If you could be an animal, which one would you be, and why would you be that animal?
Okay, if you've been on this channel, you might know what I'm about to say. I'm going to be a hawk. Because hawks are birds of prey, and I like birds of prey. And I'd want to be most people are probably going to say a bird, because you want to fly, right? So, that's pretty much what I'm going to choose.
I'd be a honey badger. Because they're so mean, and they're so aggressive, and they're just so, they're such a menace, and they can pretty much survive anything. Honey badgers can get snake bit by a venomous snake, and they will fall over and sleep for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then they'll just wake up and be good to go again. Honey badgers can, actually their skin it's really hard to break through their skin, so what few predators they do have even have a hard time getting after them, because their skin is so tough, it's hard to break through. So if you were a honey badger, of course I'd have to go live somewhere like Africa, and that wouldn't be a whole lot of fun, but I'd be really tough, so I might have to be a honey badger. Would you move to another state if you were guaranteed a nice home, a job, and a new car fully paid for? Which means whatever you have here, if you owe any debt, that would be nullified. All you have to do is move to a new state. You can start over with a home, a car, and a nice job, and it's all paid for, and you don't take your previous debt with you, but you have to move states. You're not going to get to stay in this one. Would you do it?
No.
No?
No. The answer is no.
No?
The answer is no. Not unless I could take my whole family with me, and if I can't do that, the answer is no.
I don't know. That's a tricky one for me.
Would you leave me? Would you leave me
Well,
behind?
I was going to say
Watch what you say to this.
Listen, I was going to say bending the rules. I could go right into the Tennessee border or right into the Georgia border and have something like totally paid for, done with, dealt with. But if I couldn't choose where the home was, no. And my question doesn't really say that you get to choose where the home was. It just means that you would have no debt and all of it would be paid for. Your job would be nice, your house, your car, and all that. But would it be worth leaving what you have now? Not being able to not know where I was going.
No.
I wouldn't like that. Okay, so I would probably say no. What would you do if you were present while a bank was being robbed? If you were in the bank, you went in there to do something, and then somebody runs in a ski mask, gun in the air, put your hands up. What would you do?
Oh man, I have thought of this 100 times. There's lots of different ways you could do this. Also, comment below if you've ever been in a bank that was robbed.
I bet one person has.
I hope that no one has, because that's really very scary. I don't know. We do have concealed carry permits, so but I'm not gonna be using nothing unless I absolutely have to. I would probably try to.
You're also not supposed to bring your gun in the bank.
Yeah, so actually, scratch that. I don't bring my gun in the bank. I really don't, because I'm responsible and I follow laws. So,
but on the off chance that I did have my gun in the bank, yes, I would pull the gun out and I would probably try to shoot the robber. Or I would have no problem trying to do that.
I might act like I don't know. I might act like I was like just like confused and like wander around and see if I could, I don't know, kind of avert some crisis if I just acted really confused and like I didn't really know where I was at. and maybe just
I've
act
thought that
pitiful
before.
and
Yeah.
and the robbers wouldn't shoot me, but maybe I could somehow, I don't know,
Create an aversion,
yeah.
diversion.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Part of me thinks that I would, unfortunately, be at their mercy, and I just
I
have to
know.
do whatever they ask
Probably
me to do,
so.
which I would have a very hard time doing, even under duress, because I don't like being told what to do, and I sure don't like being told what to do by somebody I don't know. That's ridiculous. I hate that worse than I hate anything else in the world. So if somebody was going to get shot in the bank for being a bad hostage, it would be me.
Well,
I would be killed in the bank for being the hostage that just wouldn't listen.
That probably would happen.
But if I thought that there was some chance that I
Yeah.
could heroically save the day, even if
Yes.
it meant I had to die, I'd be all about it.
Yeah, and first and foremost, what we should have mentioned was, of course, is pray.
Well, yes, I would pray.
And that God would
Possibly try to tell the robber, tell the robber, I think you need to get saved.
yeah,
Because this is not it. Right.
Okay, next question.
If you were given the chance, remember this is all about chance and things that wouldn't happen on a normal day because those things are boring. Given the chance, would you, with a team of professionals safely, would you scuba dive a shipwreck? Any shipwreck that was safe enough to scuba dive.
If there's a shipwreck that's only 10 feet under the water, I will. And if it's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet, not doing it.
You're not going to do it?
No.
I'd do it all day long.
Can someone go with me to fight off sharks?
My curiosity would win out. Okay, a segue question that's not on this list is the same thing because we've had this conversation over and over. We started watching, I don't know how long ago, and I don't know who brought it up. It was me or Dad, but we started watching, you can YouTube it. There's all these videos of people exploring abandoned mines, ore mines, silver mines, gold mines, whatever. Coal mines even, but mostly other types of ore. And some of the mines are well preserved. Some of them are in really bad condition. Some of them have been bought and are maintained by a park or an agency. And you can actually pay to take tours. And those mines are actually safe and checked yearly. But I'm talking about just random old hole in the ground and you just hop on in to go see what's happening. Would you do it?
Yeah, maybe. I would be more likely to do that than I would scuba dive.
I could see that. Okay, I would definitely do it too, and I would probably scuba dive if I was with a team of people and thought they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I'm not going
Then I
to
would
do
do
it
it.
by myself though.
No, but I would, given the chance, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity to see something like that you'll never get to see again. So I would definitely do it. Now there are shipwrecks that are actually very shallow like that.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
So you could actually snorkel those
Yeah.
as a private citizen.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you do if you become a dog for a day? Just a day. You're only going to be a dog for a day. And you're not going to be a cat or anything else. You're going to be a dog. What would you do?
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun. Okay, first of all, I'm definitely gonna use my legs and see how fast that I can run and see if that's any fun. And then I'm gonna just be trying to soak up as much attention as humanly possible. Get pets all day long. Get treats. Mostly the pets and the running.
I would bite something. I don't know if I'd bite somebody, but I'd definitely bite something because dogs have teeth, like a lot of teeth, canine teeth, mean teeth to bite stuff with. I think I'd bite the couch, I'd bite a rubber shoe, I'd bite something. And I also know for a fact I'd chase my tail. If you were stuck on an island, what would you do? If your ship gets marooned and now you're stuck on an island, what are you going to do on it?
Okay, first and foremost, I'm gonna figure out how to make a fire so I can boil some seawater and so I at least have some to drink. Then, depending on what you get stuck with, then you're gonna have to figure out how to get fed. You're gonna have to take care of your basic needs, then you can figure out about trying to get off the island.
What I would really like to do is get stuck on an island like the Golden Girls did, and actually you just be on vacation, and really you're just stuck on the opposite side of the island of the resort, and you can hike a few miles and end up back at civilization.
Yeah.
I think if I was stuck on an island, though, my main priority would be, like, shelter, how to boil seawater, and hopefully not going crazy or becoming extremely irritated at whoever I'm stuck on the island with. If you could have dinner, sit down and have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
I don't know.
That is a really hard question.
I mean,
And we won't not count Jesus.
I know. That's what I was gonna say.
We'll just not. We can't sit down and eat not with Jesus. That would be cool, but just excluding him because I would immediately be like, well, yeah, no brainer, duh, I'd pick Jesus. Who else would I pick? But not picking him.
I don't know. Just what comes to my mind right now would be maybe Billy Graham or Charles Stanley.
That'd be good.
I mean, there's tons of people that I can think of. I mean, my grandpa, my grandma.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely pick my grandpa, but
I mean,
selfishly, I may pick, I might pick some old rock and roll singers.
yeah.
Just so I could ask them questions and be like, how did you write that? Why did you write
Yeah.
that? So, if I had to pick one person, I'm going to go with a dead 70s rock star. Which is terrible. There's actually some really influential people in history who I would probably sit, if I had thoughts later, to sit down and talk to. But since this is like on the spot, like my first instinct is a dead 70s rock star. Okay. If you were guaranteed all your bills would be paid forever, whatever kind of bills you accrue, but you had to go skydiving once, would you do it?
Yeah.
You would?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm probably saying no to that.
I mean, it would be terrifying, but if I knew I was going to be debt-free for the rest of my life, I'd just get through it somehow. I mean, I might pass out in the sky anyway and not even know what's going on.
I don't know if I'd go skydiving or not. I don't know if I could handle that.
If I knew that all my debt would be paid for the rest of my life.
If you would go skydiving.
Yeah, comment below if you went skydiving. We'd like to know.
Okay, what would you do if you found yourself aboard the Titanic?
Oh, gosh. Pray. Pray.
But if you found yourself aboard the Titanic with the information that you have now and you knew it was going to sink?
I don't know. Maybe try to help the women and children off the boat. I don't know.
Or if you knew it was
don't
going
know.
to sink days before it left, or
Oh,
while
well,
it was
yeah.
on its
I'd be
voyage,
telling
would you try
people-
to tell them?
Absolutely. They'd think you were crazy, but I'd be like, see, I'm from the future, and this ship is going to sink and kill all y'all, so we really need to turn back.
There is an iceberg out here, and you should watch out.
Yeah.
And then if you found yourself, I think this is what I always thought to myself, which I only ever saw bits and pieces of the movie Titanic because it just freaked me out and I couldn't watch it. But everything freaked me out. But I do know this much. There were people on the Titanic who realized that what was happening, and they just went back to their rooms in the ship, got in their beds, laid down, and went down with the ship. There was people who stayed on the ship. There was people who didn't make it to the lifeboats. Unfortunately, some of those lifeboats, there was lots of them that weren't full capacity. There could have been more people in them. But it was chaos, it was panic, and it was also probably pitch black dark.
And cold.
And really cold, so it was hard to see everything. But I can guarantee you this. I would not have been one of the people that lay down in my bed and drowned like that, and I would have jumped off that ship. If the fall killed me, it'd have killed me. If a shark ate me, it would have ate me. If I froze to death, because I would have froze to death if I couldn't have got in one of those lifeboats, with being women and children, we probably could have got out of there. I mean, we're not children, but we're women, so we probably could have got out of there. But I can promise you right now, there's no way that I would have rode the ship
I
down
would've
knowing
done
I was going to
something.
drown. I would have done something. I'd have jumped into the water knowing I was going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Because one thing I get really off on the Titanic, one thing people don't realize is when a ship goes down like that, it creates a pull and a vacuum. So if you think that you're just going to stand up here on the stern and wait for it to go down until you can just step into the water, you've made a fatal mistake, because the pull of the ship will suck you under and you won't be able to resurface.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to a lot of people. So I'd have been taking a dive, and if I broke my neck, become shark food, or froze to death, it would have been better than drowning, laying flat on my back in that ship. Because once the ship started filling with water, the lights went out. So if you changed your mind for the last minute, it'd be too late. It would be full of water and pitch black dark, and you would be trapped. You'd not be able to get out, which is terrible. Terrible. So, maybe one more question on a more positive note than the Titanic, which is terrifying, but we both stated we would have tried to survive. We wouldn't have just laid down and taken it, which I'm not judging anybody. Everybody just, the Titanic just happened how it happened. But my next and last question is, what would you do if you could step into a painting? Any painting, an old painting, a new painting, whatever painting. If you could step into it, like I guess thinking about a painting of a place maybe, and be there in that time frame, what would you do? Like maybe what would you do, but which one would you step in?
I don't know. One of the paintings probably of Jesus and go back to his day and see Jesus.
You could step into the Last Supper painting and be a fly on the wall and just listen.
Yeah.
See what went on.
That's what I was thinking.
What they were talking about.
There's lots of other paintings. I mean, it'd be cool to, if you could just step into a painting and go to another country and not have to travel.
And step back out of the painting when you wanted to come back.
That would be cool.
I might pick a particular place and time and step into it, because I always thought this idea of, like, what if we could go back in time but keep everything we knew now?
Yeah.
Would you go back and say anything, or would you just go back and enjoy it knowing the future?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends, and especially if you really could do that, it would be hard to go back and not have access to the modern convenience that we have now. I mean, there would also be pros to that, but
it would be interesting, especially if you went to a museum, maybe a museum with some really old historical paintings. It would be interesting to step back into those.
Yeah.
Because that would be another completely, be a dream of antiquity. It would be totally different than anything now. So those are some pretty good questions. I think my favorite question was, I think my favorite and the funnest question for me to think about was if you owned a restaurant.
I know, that's what I was going to say.
Because that's actually somewhat plausible. People do open restaurants. So I think out of all of these, the most likely ones to happen would be to have a paid vacation, because sometimes, you know, you win a cruise or whatever, which, based on my answer to the Titanic, I'm not cruising. If you owned a restaurant, I think that's also realistic. I think that could happen. If you were in a bank while it was being robbed, that could probably also happen. One last question, which was actually the funnest and goofiest question that Corey came up with, that I overlooked and did not ask. If you could only wear one color for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Brown. I'm so excited.
Brown. I would pick brown because I love brown and because brown is neutral.
Yeah, and I think brown suits my skin color. It does yours too.
If I didn't say brown, I would say green.
Yeah.
Would you say green?
One of those neutral. I like a lot of reds and pinks, like a neutral type, but something like that.
I think this has been fun. I think all these questions are fun because it just kind of gives you something else to think about.
Yeah. You have to comment below, and like we said, we'll put it in the description, so maybe you can answer some of the questions for yourself, and we'll look forward to seeing what you answer.
I'll be interested to see what some people say about the skydiving versus paying your bills.
Yeah, if anyone's robbed a bank, not robbed a bank, been in a bank that was robbed, or
we hope you've not robbed a bank,
skydived, or owned a Japanese restaurant.
To close, I will quote a Golden Girls episode. Rose says, her late husband Charlie said even a trip to the bank can be fun if you have the right attitude. And then Dorothy says, oh, really? And she said, yeah, he said a trip to the bank could be fun if you put on a ski mask. And Dorothy said he would say that often. And Rose said almost as often he'd say, it's me, Charlie Nyland, don't shoot.